Hi and thank you for watching a new Social Elvis video. This time we're talking about the life and loves of Elvis Aaron Presley. Okay, so this is more of an informational video now. If you're young, around your in between your mid-20s to early 30s and haven't grown up with Elvis, you may not know a lot about him, and the reason why I say mid-20s to early 30s is because I'm in my mid-20s, but I know a lot about him because I've been brought up with him. So, for those who don't know much about him, he was actually called Elvis Aaron Presley and was born on the 8th of January 1935. Now, his gravestone at his Memphis mansion, Graceland, his middle name is spelled Aaron, and it's spelled the same on Wikipedia. Now, you may have heard in past history that there are a lot of conspiracies surrounding Elvis Presley's death, and the reason, or one of the reasons for that suspicion and that conspiracy, is because he never spelled his name Aaron. It was always Aaron. And when his mother and father, Gladys and Vernon, when Elvis was born, they spelled Aaron, but they put Aaron, and Vernon went mad and fought with them until they changed the spelling to Aaron. Now, if you don't know much about him, he also had a twin brother. Unfortunately, his twin brother was a stillborn. Now, he was named Jesse Garron Presley, and Elvis was Elvis Aaron Presley. Now, Elvis basically created rock and roll, and he wasn't a racist. It didn't matter to him whether he was speaking to a black person or even singing a black person song. Didn't matter to him. He was interracial. Now, unfortunately, he didn't live long on this earth, and there is quite a few musicians that I can think of that didn't live for long. Now, Elvis did die through a possible drugs reason, but his cause of death was put down as a heart attack. The drugs that I referred to then, that said, when I said he could have died possibly of a drug death, was the fact that he was a bit naive when it came to medication, and naive in the way that he thought because they were prescribed for him by a doctor that they couldn't harm him. How wrong he was. But his music career began in 1954, and his first ever label was Sun Records. But when his song was first played on the radio, people assumed that whoever it was singing was black. Because they just didn't expect it. At that time, blacks and whites were segregated. Blacks were on one side and whites were on the other, and they never met. So, for Elvis to go to Sun Records, not only to record his first song, but record one that black people liked so much to make people think he was black, was a one-off. I've never heard of anyone that's done that since. Now, he was called up into the army in 1958, and whilst he was doing his training, his mother unexpectedly died. Now, people have made him out to be a hard drug user, a person that drank all the time, would basically get drunk and high as a kite, and it's not a good reputation. But none of that was true either. So he didn't just have people going around saying this, but he kind of had to prove that, he wasn't. And he wasn't. He'd seen what alcohol could do to people. Alcohol killed his mum. So he'd seen what alcohol could do to people, and his outlook was that he didn't want to be a part of that. He didn't want that to happen to him. And so obviously he didn't mind that people was drinking around him, but he wouldn't drink himself. Now, the amount of charities set up in Elvis's name is unbelievable. And he was worried when he came out of the army whether people would still love him as much as they did when he went in. And actually they loved him more to the point that they still love him, and their love gets stronger for him almost 44 years after his death. So Elvis needn't have worried, but he did. But that was the kind of person that Elvis was. And as for his loves, we all know that he fell in love with, married and had a daughter with Priscilla Presley. But that was when he could mould her into what he wanted her to be. A few years down the line, she realised that she could be her own woman, and she could wear what she wanted, and she could do what she wanted, and she didn't have to be told what to do. And so she filed for divorce. The hardest pill I think Elvis took, or one of the hardest pills he took, was one, it was another man that took Priscilla away from him, and two, it was she'd had enough of him controlling her. She'd also had enough of him being unfaithful. But that's how it worked. Now, a little while after Priscilla and Elvis's breakup, Elvis met Linda Thompson, who he was in a relationship with for nearly either almost or just over 5 years, and he must have loved her, but she left him because of the drug use. Not illegal drugs, not hard drugs, but drugs, and that's why she left him. Now, when Ginger Alden stepped in, she was very young compared to Elvis, but she also told people that Elvis had agreed to marry her. I don't believe he did, because he actually Priscilla actually put in her book, Elvis and Me, that they were talking about getting back together. Whoever you listen to or trust the most, that's up to you. Another thing is, Graceland would never have been what it is today without Priscilla Presley. You can hate Priscilla as much as you want, but nothing would, nothing would have made Graceland what it is today without Priscilla, because she oversaw the finances, she sorted the place out. She opened it as a museum. She did everything in her power to be able to keep Graceland going, which she did. It's now got a National Historic Landmark Award, or it's down in that directory, which not many people really have. Now, I don't know if that's suspicion or they're not very easy to meet. But since the opening of Graceland, there has been the building and completion of the Elvis Presley complex, where his cars and his motorbikes and his discs and basically everything is on show for all to see. Okay, so you've got that. And then Priscilla was involved in the guest house at Graceland build. She designed it. She decided what the design inside was going to be. So people will always have their own opinions, but Priscilla has done more for Elvis than we could ever have imagined possible without her. Quite frankly, it wouldn't have happened without because she was the businesswoman, and she knew what she had to do to get Graceland up and going again. And that is why you see Graceland as it is today. It's a thriving business. It has hundreds of thousands of customers walk around each year. It's good and it's bad. It's good because if you live in America, you can get to the guest house or get to Graceland and go and see it. It's bad because if you are from, say, the United Kingdom, it will cost you an arm and a leg to get the flights, the holiday money, whatever you may need. It's hard, really hard. So it just isn't possible. But and as for Ginger Alden, I don't believe that he got engaged to be married to Ginger. I believe that he just bought her a present, which happened to be a ring and nothing else, because his two real true loves, first and foremost was his daughter Lisa Marie, But then secondly, it was Priscilla Presley. So there's a lot of questions, but I don't think that when he died, I don't think he knew who he loved. Not properly. In the book Elvis and Me by Priscilla says that they were just starting to reconcile and sort things out, and that he wanted to end it with Ginger, but he didn't know how. So yeah, drugs did cause his death, or at least they caused a heart attack that then caused his death. The question is, did it cause a heart attack and then he died by accident, or did he commit suicide knowing that they wouldn't be able to bring him back? I'm sorry, but I think it's a lot. I think it is the fact that he just couldn't tell Ginger the truth, and he took as many tablets as possible to kill him. But if you want to learn more, all you have to search is Elvis Presley or Elvis. Hi, and thank you for watching this video from Social Elvis. If you liked it, please do like, subscribe and click the notification bell. If you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments below. If you want to find us on other social media platforms, you can search Social Elvis on Facebook and Twitter, and you can see Social Elvis on socialelvis.co.uk.